The Public Relations Officer of the Ghana National Fire Service, Robinson Oko, has defended what many have referred to as the laxity on the part of firefighters in tackling Monday's fire outbreak in the Central Business District. The firefighters have been accused of failing to show up at the scene quickly enough, despite having a fire station within the vicinity where the fire started. The Inferno is reported to have started around 9 a.m. Monday on the last floor of the three-story building and has been burning up until now. More than 50 personnel of the Ghana Fire Service were at the scene battling to douse the raging inferno at the building located opposite the SIC Mall. Manuel Cranting reports there were near fisticuffs between some angry traders and firefighters at the scene.
Needed fire hydrants that we can rely on, like GRA, Second, Parisco, Kanishitogo Junction, amongst others. But unfortunately, around this time, you agree with me that the water that we drink is the same water that we used to do firefighting. So if the human beings are not getting water to drink, then how can we get water to do firefighting? So just behind me, there's a hydrant just here. But the pressure is so low that we can't depend on it. So we have to travel to second and adjoining communities to get water to do the firefighting.
So whose job is it to ensure that the fire hydrants are working properly for you?
You and I pay 1% of our water bill to take care of the hydrant. So it's a duty of water company.
So that was Public Relations Officer of the Ghana National Fire Service, Ellis Robinson Oko, responding to accusations of ineptitude made by the public, and he was speaking with Maxwell Agbogbo. But we're going to bring you the full report of what transpired today and how the fire service has been fighting this fire, but the fire is still raging, or the firefighters are still at the scene trying to ensure that everything is completely extinguished. And we will be bringing you so these are live visuals, as you can see on your screens. The Ghana National Fire Service, personnel of the Ghana National Fire Service are still at the scene trying to ensure that the fire is completely extinguished. Right, so there on your screens you can see the building which has been burning. Now the firefighters have managed to bring it under control, but you can see that there's still smoke coming out of the building, which means the fire has not been completely extinguished. But they're there at the scene, and we have Maxwell Agbogbo, who's there on the ground. Hello, Maxwell. So we can see that the smoke's still billowing out of the building. Tell us what you can report.
Well, exactly, Israel, some hours ago, the fire service is still here on the ground under the situation of the so they still have, to some extent, Israel, some hours ago, the fire service personnel here on the ground had the situation under control. They still have, to some extent, the situation under control. But some combustible materials, which we are told is on the first floor, has reignited the fire on the corner on the last floor. That is the second floor over there. So as it stands now, what they're doing is to use the turntable ladder to try and douse the flames up there. I have the public relations officer with me, Ellis Robinson Oko, here with me. He will join me. We want to find out from him what the situation is currently. Okay, so talk to me. You're telling me right now that the place is not safe.
Yes.
Yeah.
The structure is weak. It's weak, and we don't know when it may break down. You understand me? And so even before the occupants come back, we ensure that the appropriate authority come to assess the structural integrity of the building before they come back.
Okay. Just some minutes ago, we saw visible cracks behind where
we have the reignited flames. We saw cracks behind that building. So what it means is that any moment from now, this whole structure could come tumbling down?
No, I can't say that. But then there are visible weakness in the building from the way we look up there. You can see some cracks up there, and anything can happen. God knows.
Okay. So what measures is the Ghana Ghana National Fire Service putting in place to prevent any casualty? Now it is even dangerous for your men, because at the point we saw them entering the building, making sure that they douse the flames right from the source. Now that this is happening, is it going to be safe for them to still go in there?
Yes, as you can see, there is an operation area that we are operating, and nobody is even near the building. We are observing this from a certain meters away from the structure, and I believe it's safe to do that.
Okay. Do you have any idea how many hours do you envisage that this would come to an end? It's more than 10 hours, and I mean the fire is still raging. I don't think the fire is still raging. It's only occasional pockets of small fires that come up, but it is only because of the kind of materials that we have inside there. We have canisters of body spray, mosquito sprays, all sort of materials. Even the materials that we used to sew dress to wear, we have some over there. You see, so all of these things are reacting to the fire in their own special way. So you realize that when the canisters become hot, because it has some element of gas in it, it will explode. So that is what is happening now. And that is what is causing the explosion.
Yes, and we are standing by till we douse everything before we leave here.
Now, there have been concerns about the fire hydrants here. Earlier when we spoke to the Member of Parliament, he told us that more than half of the 13 fire hydrants here in the Central Business District have been encroached upon by private developers.
Yes, you are right.
That must be a big problem for the Ghana National Fire Service.
It's really a big problem. Today we have to rely on the hydrants from SIC and communities around SIC, Alajo and the rest, to be able to get water here to do the firefighting. And look at the distance involved. The fire will not be waiting for you whilst you are moving up and down. So it's a challenge.
But the first team, but the first fire service personnel who got here, we were told couldn't douse the flames because they didn't have a water tender.
It's not true.
Is that the case?
From a fire scene, every tender moves to the nearest source of water to get water before they pack. And when they are even closing and handing over, they ensure that the group that is coming in ensure that there's water in the tender before they take over and leave to their various homes. So even the tenders that you see that had broken down in our stations, there's water in. We have, even the broken down ones, we have water in it. So there's no way we can go to a fire scene without water. Yeah.
But we are told that the water tender that is at the Central Business District Fire Service Station has broken down for some time now. So the personnel had to come here with fire extinguishers to extinguish the fire. When they couldn't,
yes, it has broken down. It is an emergency vehicle that works 24/7. Even human beings break down. So if an emergency vehicle works 24 hours in a day, it can easily break down. As I speak to you, it's with the mechanics, they are working on it.
But for a place very critical like the Central Business District, where you have a lot of businesses, people's investment are in here. Some of them have gone up in flames already. Don't you think it would have been good to have a standby water tender?
Come again.
Yeah, I'm saying, don't you think it would have been good to have a standby water tender here, even if, you know, what they have has broken down?
Yes. That is why a tender from a nearby station came in to assist. When a tender breaks down, there's nothing we can do unless we send it to the mechanics to work on it. You understand me? It's an emergency vehicle, and it has been working 24/7 for, who knows, 10 years, 20 years. It has broken down. We only send it for repairs. You understand me? And then rely on the ones that are available to do the work for us. That's exactly what we are doing here.
Yeah, but the argument of the traders is that, but for, you know, that tender, I mean, the situation...
I disagree, because We interviewed some people here, and they are saying that the fire started somewhere around 6 something. We had the information 9:10. So that if it started around 6:30, it means that you cannot use the tenant that is spawned here as the basis for us not being here or whatever it is. No.
Okay. The Accra mayor is here. We'll be speaking to him shortly. But on the issue of fire hydrants, we walk through town and we see a lot of them stuffed with waste, with garbage and all of that. Some of them even do not have water. So tell us, we are told that when you came here, the pressure could not support what you wanted to do. The fire hydrant.
Yes, there's one just behind us. It's not flowing. You understand me? If it's flowing, we just couple our hoses to it and do the firefighting. But that's the situation we find ourselves in. But then, I think from this time, there's going to be more collaboration between us and the water company to see the way forward. If we can dedicate some of the hydrants in key areas so that we can rely on them for firefighting.
Thank you very much. You are the Public Relations Officer of the Ghana National Fire Service, Ellis Robinson. We have the Mayor of Accra also here, Mohamed Ejay. So let's talk to him. So, you're welcome to join you.
Thank you.
Yeah. What briefing did you get from the fire personnel here on the ground?
Well, I've been here since 9:30, like 20 minutes immediately after the fire officers came around. We all had the alert around 9 o'clock that fire had gathered into one of the shops over here. And within 10 minutes, the National Fire Service has mobilized enough fire tenders to this location to fight the fire. From ministries, from Parliament, from Circle, from their head office, and then from the Metro office. All the fire tenders within Accra Central has been pulled to the center to fight the fire. The only challenge that they had initially from the beginning was the fact that the pressure of water within the precinct of the CBD was low. So after they finished with the discharge of water, to replenish it, they have to go to Alaju or Circle to replenish it and come back over here. That delay caused a bit of distraction in the firefighting. But overall, they have been very consistent, and at any point in time, we have not less than 5 fire tenders fighting over here. And they have been fighting since 9:30. In fact, I have seen many fire officers who were on uniform, meaning they were just at home, and they had come here to come and support. We had the military also present here to provide some assistance.
Okay.
The police were here also to maintain security. So it had been all hands on deck in fighting this fire. The initial problem that we encountered had been worked on. In this building, as I speak to you now, my information is that it's full of inflammable materials. So you can see that as much as the fire had been contained at one place since morning, there's still fire inside. And there's nothing somebody can do about it, because you have all kinds of lotions, you have weave on and wig there, all kinds of things over there which are flammable.
Yeah. But I want to find out, you talked about low pressure for some of the fire hydrants within the metropolis. Don't you think it's a bit problematic that for a critical place like the Central Business District, it was difficult for firefighters to get, fire hydrants where they could get water readily to fight the fire?
It is, but it's not a normal thing that happens over here. We've been fighting fire here all this while. There had been fire at Katamanton a couple of months ago, fire at Odona a couple of months ago. So it is not a normal thing that happens there. There's always low pressure over here. It could be that the Ghana Water Company is doing something. I do not want to be speculative, but that is the problem which we encountered in the morning. And as I said, at least we've managed to make sure that we have a lot of fire tenders that are still fighting the fire. The main problem that we are encountering now is the inflammable materials which are here. If they are unable to contain the fire over here, the fire would have been spread into adjoining buildings over here. And I think that we should commend the Ghana Fire Service. I've seen men and women that have been working here since 9 a.m. Since 9 a.m. I've been on my feet with them. And I think that we should commend them for the work that they are doing. If there's a challenge somewhere, we'll deal with the challenge.
Yeah. Finally, before you go, earlier in the day, I spoke to the Member of Parliament for Dodo, and he said that about half of the fire hydrants within you know, you have been encroached upon. You have people putting up structures and then some of them tapping water from them and all of that. Has that come to your attention?
I don't know where you get the data from, and I do not want to be speculative. The point is that I have told you that the fire hydrants that we have over here, they had low pressure. Hence, they had to go to Circle and Alado to fetch water and come and fight the water from the beginning. That's what I want to stick to. I don't want to be involved in very speculative points at this moment.
But the low pressure, has that always been the case, or is it just a one?
I have mentioned to you earlier that it has not been the case. It is not a normal thing that happens over here. We've been fighting fire over here all this while. Indeed, in this particular building, there's a fire hydrant here. There's a fire that when a couple of months ago we had fire issue here, we used the hydrant to fight the fire. We had issues also sometime at Katamanton. We had one also at Odona and some other areas. This is the central business district, and this thing happens occasionally. So we've been fighting the fire all this while. And I think that it's important for us to commend the firefighters at this moment. It is very unfair and very unfortunate for anyone to make a statement that the firefighters have been lazy on their job. It's very, very unfair, and I do not want to associate myself with such a comment. Okay. I have been here with them since 9:30, and they have been on their feet all this while, and they have managed to contain the fire. As much as you hear the news that there is fire at Mokola, the location where the fire is, the building in which the fire is, has been same building since morning. So you ask yourself, how come the fire has not been doused since morning?
Okay.
And we are telling you that the reason is the fact that they are inflammable materials.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So you just had the mayor of Accra, Mohamed Ajay Sowa. But what you can see right now in the background is the fire. So we are told that this particular section of the building is where they sell cosmetics. So you have combustible materials like perfume, like hair, like body spray, and all of that on that section. So that is why the fire has reignited. And we've had this experience for the past 1 hour where we had some kind of mini explosions that sent a lot of the traders here running for their lives. When that happens, you get fire personnel. Well, the explosion is still going on now. When that happens, you get fire service personnel climbing the turntable ladder and then get into the source and then try to douse the flame. They tell me that it does not look like they're going to live here this evening. They would have to stay here throughout the day to make sure that they completely douse this flame. The explosion is still happening, you know, in the background. Earlier, we had a lot of the traders. Earlier, we had a lot of the traders around here. We had a lot of the traders around, you know, watching with bated breath, watching the fire service, the firefighters as they douse the flames. But many of them couldn't stay throughout the night. They had to leave. It was their hope that the firefighters would be able to completely douse the flames before they leave here. Their concern is that if they are unable to douse the flames, it could possibly spread to other adjoining shops. And already properties running into millions of Ghana cedis have already gone up in flames, and they do not want adjoining shops to be affected. It looks like the Ghana National Fire Service has more work to do. We also have more work to do because we'd have to be here with them as well.
All right, thank you very much, Maxwell Agwagwa, bringing us that update. And as you can see, we're noticing that the fire is still raging, even though the fire service says they pretty much brought it under control. You can see that still there's some flames going up out there, and the firefighters clearly have their work cut out for them.